Hi everyone, I made a video in my car on the way home from my specialist appointment, but I decided to redo it because it was a bit rambly and all over the place. Coming to you from my bedroom, this little man who is obsessed with me today for some reason. Yes, I had an appointment with my bowel specialist. I'm not sure if I told you, but I decided to make an appointment privately to see a bowel specialist regarding my tube, my left fallopian tube that is attached, possibly, well, the gynecologist thinks, to my bowel. And obviously, most of you know that I've had my large intestine removed and I've only got the small bowel remaining that's attached to a, he's chasing up, oh, he's off, flycatcher, that's attached to my Jpouch, which is attached to my bottom. So obviously, the gynecologist, as you may be aware from my last videos, told me that there'd be a very high risk if he tried to remove the fallopian tube, because what he would need to do is the adhesions that's covering my tube cut through to expose the tube to be able to remove it, and by doing so could damage my bowel that's attached. And I didn't know what part of my bowel was attached, so, and I just needed some answers really. So I, instead of waiting months and months and months to see a specialist at the hospital, I decided to get in private and see him. It's going to cost us $220 or something just to see him, £220. He's going to invoice me, so I haven't paid anything yet, but I've got it ready in my account. But anyway, yeah, the appointment was so productive, and I was emotional the whole way through it, because he's also had a pouch, so he completely understood where I was coming from. He was really, really nice. Just such a nice, productive appointment. He basically said that he could remove the tube, obviously could do the operation, but he thinks it'd be safer for me to do it open surgery rather than laparoscopically, because you can see more and you can really see what you're doing, rather than kind of just guessing and trying to look and see with the small amount of scope you have, you know. When it's open, it's everything's exposed, isn't it? So, but obviously that would mean major surgery. Like he said, it would be less risk to my health in the future, kind of going forward. Obviously, doing it laparoscopically, they could damage something inside, and the gynecologist said that it could cause me to have a colonoscopy. No, not a colonoscopy. Have a colostomy bag, and to damage my bowel. But the consultant that I just saw, he actually just said that it's going to be the small bowel that it'll be attached to, because if you imagine a picture, if you Google like the inside where your bowels are or whatever, that it's like your small intestine like wiggles down here, and then it joins the large, which goes around and joins your bottom. But obviously mine is just the small intestine attached to my Jpouch, which is like a little pouch compartment thing that has replaced the large intestine, and that's attached to my bottom. So he said in most scenarios you don't get the pretty like wiggle that goes down. It kind of loops and goes all over the place inside, and that's probably where it's attached to my tube, because obviously when I had the operation, it's lots of scarring and lots of adhesions, and things can get stuck. So that's probably what's happened. It's very common in what happens to me that I would have adhesions. So with that being said, he thinks that if there was damage to any of my bowel during this surgery, it would be the small bowel. And he says that the small bowel does heal very quickly, and they could sew it up in surgery if something did happen. He didn't really mention having a colostomy bag. He didn't say there's a risk to this. He just said there would be a risk to cutting the small bowel, but it would be it heals quite quickly, and he definitely would want to be there in the surgery room with the gynecologist who would be taking the tubes out. So it just made Zav and I feel like it wasn't as, could be not as bad, or whether he was just kind of holding back and not saying too much, I'm not sure, but we went away feeling a lot more positive. I did record everything that he was saying to me, and I might make an unlisted video of the whole conversation, as much as I recorded anyway. There was a bit done, and then my alarm my alarm clock went off, and I think it interrupted it, and then when I remembered I was able to do it, I started recording again. So I'll put them together somehow and make an unlisted video that if you are interested in listening to everything he said, then feel free to watch it. I'll put it in the down bar. Probably have to upload that before this one. But yeah, he was also really cross that they didn't take my tubes out before having IVF. He said that's really sad, that, you know, that could have been the cause for your failures, considering I've been pregnant twice out of the 3 attempts. He said yeah, he said that he is definitely going to try and push for them to fund IVF, because he thinks it's really unfair, because it's a well-known fact that when you have the bowel surgery that I've had, or even colitis and the issues that I've had, that there are problems. And there's no problem with my fertility, but there's a problem with, let me ask Zav, he knows the term. Hold on. Zav, you know the doctor said there was nothing wrong with my fertility, but there was something else. What was the term? Fecundancy. Whatever that means, but I think that either means like the egg travelling to the uterus, there's kind of a blockage there, so that's my issue, not the actual getting pregnant or whatever. So yeah, I basically nearly started crying, and Zav was holding my hand because he could see that I was, he could see that I was just getting really like, I can't believe how nice you are, and I felt like he knew, he understood, and he was just like, this is, you know, really, really sad. Like, you know, I said it feels like I may as well have started from scratch with the IVF, and he agreed, and he said, we'll definitely push for it. You know, you've got exceptional circumstances, you know, so yes, stop eating me. Stop eating me. I'm trying to film a video. So yeah, I have to decide now whether I want to go through having more surgery, you know, because sorry, I've obviously had my large intestine removed, so I've got a pretty decent scar there, but it's a lot flatter because I actually had reconstruction surgery on it, because it was really thick. Because surgeons don't really care about a young, well, he didn't really care about a young 20-year-old having a nice tummy after having an operation like that. I don't think they really care about that when they're doing this sort of surgery. They just need to go in and do what they need to do. But for me, I had a huge, like, thick scar, and they did reconstruction and a bit of liposuction because it looked like a front bum at one point. So I am a bit concerned about, ow, Cleveland, stop clawing me. I am a bit concerned about having to go through surgery again. Go get it. He did say that they could go in from a high point using laparoscopic procedure, and then if necessary they could open, and also they might be able to do that and not need to open me up and be able to get to the tube anyway. I don't know, but he said if I go through with it, if I want to go through with it, he'd be happy to do it, and he'd be there. And he also said that if I did decide to do it, he would definitely push for funding for the IVF, because I'm putting myself through extra risk to take my tube out. You know, they could at least, you know, because it's not a health issue, I'm not in any pain or there's no medical need for me to take my tube out apart from wanting to have a family, so it's like a choice. So he feels like I should be helped, especially considering I told him about the chlamydia swabs as well. So yes, we have to decide now, shall we go through with it or not? Because obviously it's going to be weeks off work, it's going to be recovery, I've got to organise it with work, they've got to be cool with it. She knows that my tube's leaking, and she knows that I need to do IVF. I think my boss will be cool as long as they have someone to cover me during that time. I don't know, but it's not going to be 2 weeks like laparoscopy. I can never say that word. It's not going to be just 2 weeks, is it? It's going to be like 5 weeks at least. So if anyone's got any advice about having your tubes out, open surgery, and the kind of healing process of it, because I said to him, is it going to be is it going to be as bad as having your bowel removed? Is the incision going to be as bad? And he said, well, depends how much they need to see and everything. So he's going to speak to my gynecologist. And yeah, when he was dictating a letter, he was stopping and starting and asking us how should we phrase it, and really trying to help me out with the fact that my tube should have been removed first if they felt that there was hydrosalpinx, which I know that they'd found before I was transferred for IVF and everything like that. So, and obviously the chlamydia swabs. So hopefully now we can try and push for a bit of help with the IVF. And he said, and said in the letter, dictating the letter, she's even paid for a cycle as well. You know, with her situation being out of her hands, she shouldn't have had to. And it's because it's completely not treatable, isn't it? Is it, when your tubes are blocked from one end to another? There's no operation that can be. There's nothing that I can do to help my fertility or help me to naturally conceive. You know, so yeah, that's it really. So yeah, open surgery and having a nice new scar again. Work, and obviously, it's major surgery that I'm risking to take my tube out and then to go forward for IVF, which I might then have to pay for like 2 or 3 cycles, whatever. And if my cycles don't work, as you know, potentially might not work anyway, just even in a normal IVF that hasn't got as many problems as mine, it still might not work, and then I've risked the surgery for nothing. But then will I then look back and think I did everything I could and just be happy with that? You know, so it's a bit like, ugh! What do you think? Let me know, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.